Part 7. I just want to be a quiet Tianlong person. Author, Da-ei Tianlong. Chapter 61. The huge banquet hall was filled with Amazon female warriors. This was a welcoming banquet and a celebration banquet. The banquet was conducted in a very orderly manner at the beginning. After Chu Lan entered, everyone saluted. Hancock made an important speech, mainly introducing Chu Ian's identity and asking them to respect Chu Lan as much as they respected her. Don't behave in a way that offends Chu Lan. Once you do, you will be severely punished. The women on Nine Snake Island are isolated from the world. Most of them have never seen a man, but they have also heard that there is a kind of people in the world called Tianlong people. Their status is very noble and no one can offend them. However, they did not have the experience of the Empress when she was a child, so they did not feel much fear. Instead, they saw that Chu Lan was more beautiful than the man they imagined, and they all stared at him closely, unable to help but become nymphomaniacs. A little girl mustered up her courage, took 2 steps forward and asked, "Sir Chu Lan, can I ask you a question?" Chu Lan smiled kindly and said, "Okay, just ask." "Lord Chu Lan, Grandma Niu said that every man has an elephant. Can you let me see it?" The girls around him nodded. "Oh my God! What kind of talk are you talking about?" Chu Lan was shocked. These women actually want to see mammoths in public? Granny Niu, what kind of knowledge have you passed on to children? She is only 8 years old. No, this really doesn't work. Next question. Chu Lan decisively refused. "Lord Chu Lan's Hung, why is your voice different from ours?" "Lord Chu Lan's Hung, are there really many men in the outside world?" "Lord Chu Lan's Hung, why do you have no breast muscles?" When someone started, the people behind him were naturally no longer afraid and rushed forward one after another, chattering to him and asking him various questions. It is said that 3 women in 1 play or 100 plays would be such a terrifying scene. Chu Lan truly realized it at this moment. The majesty of Snake Princess has no effect at this moment. 2 hours later, the grand banquet ended, and Chu Lan finally breathed a sigh of relief. There were at least hundreds of strong men on 3 levels inside and 3 outside, asking questions. It was not too exciting. After the banquet was over, Chu Lan took Granny Niu back to the bedroom. The kind of belt that was carried by hand made the drunk Granny Niu almost unable to walk. Behind them were the 3 Hancock sisters. Back in the bedroom, Hancock mercilessly threw Granny Niu into the bucket. Granny Niu suddenly woke up. The effect of sobering up was not very good. "Granny Niu." Chu Lan took out a blue watermelon with a spiral pattern from her bag and asked with a smile, "Do you want to play basketball?" "Grandma Niu." 3 questions about life popped up directly on her forehead. What is this? Who is basketball? Why hit him? Ahem, the words went smoothly. Chu Lan coughed slightly and asked, "You should all know what this is, right?" "Devil fruit," Hancock said. "Yes, devil fruit." Chu Lan introduced, "The name of this devil fruit is the elimination fruit. Its ability has been verified by me and can perfectly eliminate the mark of the flying dragon's hoof on your body." Grandma Niu looked at Chu Lan in disbelief. "Nanny? A Tianlong man actually said that he wanted to remove the marks on the slaves?" Hancock suppressed his excitement. The slave marks that he had worked hard to cover up for so many years would unexpectedly appear one day. "It can really be removed." The second sister and the third sister stared closely at the devil fruit. After what happened before, they already believed in Chu Lan. Now when they heard Chu Lan say this, they had no doubts at all. The 2 of them sincerely thanked Lord Chu Lan, "You are such a good person." "Chu Lan, no, I'm not. If you send me cards again, I will fuck your sister." However, Master Chu Lan's Hung, the 3 sisters have already eaten the devil fruit and can no longer gain the ability of the devil fruit, Grandma Niu said wittily. "It's okay, I still have you. Grandma knew. Tool man? Are you really just a tool person? That, it is said that devil fruits are quite unpalatable at my age, I should leave this matter to others. Granny New looked at the three ferocious daughters in front of her. Her mother's deep love still prevented her from saying these words. Received the devil fruit, bit it down, and ate the entire fruit in 2 or 3 bites. Ugh, it tastes so bad. Under Chu Ian's guidance, Granny New took only a few minutes to master the basic skills of using the fruit, which was enough to eliminate the slave marks on Hancock's and the others' backs. When her withered hands were placed on Hancock's, Chu Lan could clearly see the slave mark on Cook's back, and her body was still shaking uncontrollably. Don't worry, it's okay. Chu Lan raised her head and touched her head. Well, I believe you, Master Chu Lan, Hancock said tenderly. Yes, believe me. Grandma Nu gave her a slap in the face in dissatisfaction. Okay. Hancock turned her head in surprise and reached out to touch her back. The originally wrinkled and rough skin had become smooth. She still couldn't believe it, so she turned around and rushed into the bathroom. Granny Nu followed the same example, and the second and third sisters also ran away happily. Enter the bathroom. I don't know if there is such a big mirror in the bathroom. It's great to read books on May Day. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Event time, April 29th to May 3rd. I just want to be a quiet Tianlong person. Author, Dai Tianlong. Chapter 62. Late at night. After Granny Nu had spent the rest of her life, Hancock grabbed her and threw her out of the window. Chu Lan and her were the only 2 people left in the room. Hancock was lying on his side on the luxurious bed. The skin after removing the slave brand is flawless. Please make up your mind for this description, otherwise you won't be able to get out of the dark room. At this time, an experienced driver must take care of her. Chu Lan volunteered and turned off the lights in the room with her hand. At noon the next day, Chu Lan got dressed under the service of the slightly haggard Shiji. After having breakfast together, Chu Lan bid farewell to Hancock and went out to visit Nine Snakes Island under the leadership of Xiao Cheng. The admiring look in Xiao Cheng's eyes when she looked at him made Chu Lan very proud. Hancock couldn't go out with him, she needed some rest. Chu Lan walked leisurely on the wide street, and what he saw was an endless scene of peace. There were many pedestrians on the street, discussing with each other their skills in playing snakes. The stalls on both sides sold a variety of delicacies. The female warriors who went out to hunt came back carrying huge prey and greeted the patrolling soldiers familiarly. When the women on the street saw Chu Lan, they greeted him enthusiastically and stuffed various fruits and barbecued meats into his arms for free. The level of cooking was as good as that of a certain straw hat boy. Eating barbecue that tasted pretty good, Chu Lan spent the whole afternoon touring the entire Nine Snakes city. Standing on the edge of the city wall and looking down, Chu Lan, a person with a fear of heights, couldn't help but want to jump down at a height of nearly 1,000 meters. However, considering that she did not have the ability to withstand falling devil fruit, Chu Lan decisively gave up the idea and sighed. Alas, if I had the ability to flutter fruits, my fear of heights would probably be cured without treatment. Just when Chu Lan was about to turn around and leave, a huge shadow suddenly fell in the sky. In the shadow, there seemed to be paddles waving. Chu Lan subconsciously looked up and said F***ck on the spot. Xiao Qing next to her opened her mouth wide and her eyes widened. Snake Zinza was so frightened that he couldn't help but exclaimed, "Hi, pirate ship." Well, it's a pirate ship. Chu Lan frowned and carefully looked at the huge pirate ship in the sky, confirming that it was the ship of the Golden Lion's flying pirates. This time is wrong. Shouldn't the Golden Lion be killed by the protagonist before the war starts? Did the halo fly away? Why did it appear here? Did the 2 sides not meet? Or did the Golden Lion become smarter and escape the huge thunderstorm? Forget it, the theatrical version is full of bugs, we can't take it seriously. Croc forget about Dar, the Golden Lion, the legendary powerful pirate who could angrily the Navy headquarters by himself, sink half of Marine Vando in a fight with Garp Sengoku, and rank alongside Whitebeard, was defeated by a man who couldn't even take a kick from Kizaru. It's so outrageous that the newbie who lives here is defeated. Chulan couldn't help but smile, it was such an unexpected surprise. No wonder I didn't see him at LV6 in Impel Down City. It wasn't that Warring States and 5 old stars deliberately hid it from me, it was simply that they didn't seize it. Cao is really my brother. The pirate ship passing by from high altitude showed no sign of stopping. The Golden Lion's goal is to destroy the East China Sea. Before this goal is achieved, even he is a Golden Lion and will not easily offending the king of the Kabadai. Seeing the Golden Lion driving the pirate ship away, Chulan was not happy on the spot. After finally catching a big fish, how could you let you run away like this? Even if you don't confirm the golden whether the 2 swords at the lion's feet were the second of the supreme Otaki, he also had to see the scenery on the island and ask if the duck was built. Isn't it just to see different scenery when he came to this world? Experience different women, life. Otherwise, wouldn't my life have been in vain? Xiaoqing, step back. Chulan warned Xiaoqing behind him, stretched out his hand to hold the handle of the sword, and unsheathed the 12 skills of the Supreme Otaki, the first generation Ghost Tetsu. The boundless evil spirit filled the air, covering Chu Ian's whole body and the entire space of nearly 100 meters around him. Inside the package, the screams of demons and monsters reached Xiaoqing's ears, and she was immediately frightened and backed away. Until she retreated a few hundred meters, she could still clearly feel the heart-stopping aura. The demonic aura took shape and shrouded it. The surrounding demonic energy suddenly condensed and turned into a 100-meter-long purple flame surrounding Guide's blade. I haven't decided what to call this move yet. Chulan paused and smiled casually, never mind, go back and raise funds for the name before changing it. The blade of the sword danced, huge purple flames billowed, and the huge slash that was 100 meters long spanned the space and flew towards the flying pirate ship in the sky. Cut. Reading books on May Day will be great. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now, activity time, April 29th to May 3rd. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I just want to be a quiet Tianlong person. Author, Dai Tianlong. Chapter 63. High in the sky, the flying pirates. In the huge palace on the pirate ship, a man with a rudder on his head sat boldly on a throne on a high platform. He had thick and long golden hair on both sides of his head. He made many middle-aged men envious of him. He looked at the surveillance video in front of him and asked. The navigator team just passed by the territory of the pirate empress, Boya Hancock, right? Yes, Master Shiki, the navigator quickly replied, below us is Nine Snake Island. Legend has it that this is an island with only women. Gee ha 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 ha. Golden Lion Shiji lay on the monitor screen and laughed. I really want to see what the legendary Snake Lady, the most beautiful woman in the world, looks like. Sir Shiki, Boya Hancock is the pirate empress. If we attack her now, the Navy will most likely lock our position, the navigator reminded. I know, the Golden Lion shouted dissatisfied, continue sailing. When I destroy Donghai, I will definitely come back and make her my woman. Puff 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 puff. A series of fart sounds suddenly sounded, but there was no strange smell. Shiji frowned and looked aside. A fat blue man wearing clown shoes came forward, and as he walked, there was a constant popping sound from the soles of the shoes. Can't you find a way to deal with the sound of your footsteps? The Golden Lion shouted angrily. Dr. Brother Indigo. Dr. Indigo was stunned for a moment, and began to open his hands and feet and make random gestures. Puff puff, Puff 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 puff, puff puff puff. The veins on the golden lion's forehead slowly popped up, and he cursed, "What on earth do you want to say?" I suddenly remembered that I have something to report to you. It turns out you can talk. The golden lion was so shocked that his eyes popped out. Ha, 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 ha. A gorilla wearing an old mother flower hat and a pink old mother style sweater clapped her hands and laughed. Old Mom, the golden lion looked at the orangutan affectionately. No matter how you look at it, it's just an orangutan, right? Dr. Indigo slapped him on the head. Hey, what do you want to report? Ah, Master Shiji, there is a man with a knife below the ship. He seems to be doing bad things to our ship. Nanny, the golden lion was shocked and quickly turned to monitor. In the monitor screen, a huge slash was approaching from below towards the pirate ship in the air at high speed. What a powerful slash! The golden lion suddenly stretched his hands forward, and the huge city gate closed directly. The whole ship began to turn around rapidly, trying to avoid the huge slash below. Unfortunately, too much time was wasted because of the funny performance of the three people. In Chulan, I didn't have time to notice before I drew my sword, and it was impossible to completely avoid it at this time. The huge slash hit the pirate ship in the sky. Fortunately, the bottom of the flying pirate ship was not a simple piece of wood, but a very huge and thick rock rubbles flying. Countless boulders fell from the sky, along the edge of the Nine Snakes city wall, and smashed into the island. A huge rift was torn directly from the bottom of the pirate ship, the cabin shook violently, and everyone was shaking violently. He fell to the ground. The golden lion got up from the ground, flew directly out of the cabin, and stabilized the shaky ship, which was about to break into two pieces. The pirate ship slowly stopped shaking, and the golden lion stood in the air, his eyes fierce, staring down at the man who made a huge slash. Chulan also looked up at him, showed a bright smile, and waved to him. "Officer, come down and play." The golden lion paused in the air for a moment, but did not come down as Chulan intended. Instead, it controlled the ship and flew directly to a higher sky, disappearing into the clouds. Chulan was left standing there alone, stunned. Like a man abandoned by a scumbag. Ran. Chulan was confused. The legendary pirate, Golden Lion Chiji, after someone hacked his boat inexplicably, he didn't come down to take revenge and just ran away. Chulan didn't believe that Golden Lion was so shameless. He treated himself her beauty. "Ah, I know a little bit about the temper of the Golden Lion. He must go back to regroup, and after putting the ship in order, he will take revenge alone." Chulan decided to believe in the moral character of the Golden Lion and stand on the original wait for him. This wait is until dark. Damn it! Are you really not going to come back for revenge? Chulan couldn't help but cursed. This is no longer the pirate world I am familiar with. You have changed the Golden Lion and turned into a golden dog. Chulan returned to Nine Snakes City in depression and had a simple dinner. Hancock asked about what happened this afternoon. Hancock felt something about the inexplicable vibration on the island. Chulan briefly explained. In Hancock's admiring eyes, the lights of Nine Snakes City lit up. In the middle of the night. Mayday reading is great. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Event time, April 29th to May 3rd. I just want to be a quiet Tianlong person. Author, Dai Tianlong. Chapter 64. Early the next morning, Chulan got up energetically. After a simple breakfast, Chulan looked up at the sky, but did not see the man in her heart appear. Was he really scared away by a knife? Chulan muttered a few words to herself, but she always felt that something was not right. Hancock, let's go. Okay, Master Chulan. The war on the top is about to start in 6 days. Today, Chulan is preparing to take Hancock from Nine Snakes Island to Marine Land. This is the largest war since the beginning of the Great Pirate Age. Chu Lan definitely doesn't want to miss it. Although the Navy's special route is fast, it is too boring along the way and there are no beautiful scenery. Chu Lan finally decided to take the ordinary route and spent a honeymoon with Hancock on the way to enhance each other's understanding and teach her more. A few techniques to better grasp her depth. There is still plenty of time, wouldn't it be nice to take it as a leisurely trip? At the port, the girls who came to see off warmly waved goodbye to Chu Lan. Lord Chu Lan's Hung, have a safe journey. Thanks. Lord Chu Lan's Hung, I will definitely come to Nine Snakes Island again when I have time. Must. Lord Chu Lan's Hung, you must show us your mammoth next time. No, this is really not possible. Chu Lan waved goodbye to the girls. Such a warm farewell scene was really interesting. The Nine Snakes pirate ship slowly sailed out of the port. The ship was empty. Except for the two people and the snake, there was no one else. After all, Chu Lan wanted to enjoy their honeymoon, and Hancock's voice was too alluring, and he was embarrassed to be heard by others. Even the snake would be knocked unconscious by Chu Lan in advance every night, and the bag on its head would get bigger and bigger. It's getting bigger and bigger, and now it's showing signs of turning into a dragon. No way, after living with Hancock for so long, this snake's petrification resistance is really a bit high. Fortunately, the power of this ship is two colliding snakes, there is no need for people to steer and tell them the direction, and they will automatically sail to the destination and avoid danger on their own. It can become a snake intelligent navigation system. On the warship, Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel stared blankly at the Empress nestling in Chu Ian's arms. What's happening here? The pirate Empress, who never obeyed war calls, actually agreed this time. Moreover, why is the Empress lying in the arms of Master Chu Lan's Hung? Could it be that, the pirate Empress has become Master Chu Lanzhen's woman? Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel, I suddenly want to be a dragon man. Why didn't you see that Lord Alsop stayed on Nine Snakes Island? Forget it, he is not important, as long as Lord Chu Lan's Hung is here. Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel, let's set sail and return to Malinvondo. Yes, Lord Chu Lan's Hung. Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel stood at attention and saluted. Are you taking a warship and traveling on a special current? Take the normal sea route. Chu Lan smiled and said, I also want to spend my honeymoon with Hancock. Hancock nodded shyly. Although she didn't understand what a honeymoon was, she was willing to do anything as long as she could be with Master Chu Lan. Obey. Lieutenant. General Flying Squirrel turned around, kicked the soldier who turned over with tears streaming down his face, and reprimanded loudly. Don't cry anymore, get ready to return. Lieutenant General. Go quickly. Yes. A group of soldiers dragged their bodies weakly, holding their broken hearts, and walked step by step towards their workstations. The warship slowly started, following not far behind the Kuja pirate ship, and headed towards Marine Fando. Drive in the direction of. At the same time. High in the sky above Nine Snake City, above the clouds. Golden Lion looked at the image on the monitor and confirmed with his subordinates. Is it confirmed that there is only that young man and the pirate Empress on the ship? Report to Master Shiji. There were only two of them on the boat. However, there was a warship behind their ship, and on the warship was Vice Admiral Flying Squirrel of the Navy headquarters. Is that guy Cap here? The hero Garp was not found. What about the Warring States period? Nor. Gee ha 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 ha, let's go and catch up with them. The Golden Lion waved his hand, aiming directly at the two ships that were gradually leaving the windless zone. Behind him, more than a dozen huge islands flying in the sky were slowly gathering in his direction. There were no ships yesterday. He took revenge immediately, not because he was frightened and ran away, but from the intensity of that slash, he judged that the opponent was a great swordsman who would not be much weaker than himself. Coupled with the Empress Boya Hancock, even if it's him, and he's also worried about any accidents. What's more, in the windless zone, he can't fully display his strength. If he accidentally misses it, he will really overturn. Having learned the lesson from his previous arrest, for an opponent with close strength, he is now a cautious one. I, the Golden Lion, the wise general. Out of the windless zone, I want you to look good. Windless zone, calm and calm. A warship and a pirate ship sailed slowly on the smooth, mirror-like sea, and the waves they raised were the only waves on the ocean. Under the boat, countless huge sea kings were swimming slowly. On the boat, Chu Lan changed into beach clothes and Hancock wore a bikini. The two of them lay on the deck chairs, drinking drinks and basking in the sun. They were so comfortable. The edge of the calm zone is just ahead. Reading books on May Day is a joy. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, April 29th to May 3rd. I just want to be a quiet Tianlong person. Author, Dai Tianlong. Chapter 65. The fleet sailed slowly, calmly leaving the windless zone and entering ordinary sea areas. But just as they entered the ordinary sea area, a huge shadow suddenly shrouded everyone's heads. It was a huge thunderstorm cloud that suddenly appeared. And right in front of the thunderstorm cloud is a pirate ship flying in the sky. Golden Lion? When Chu Lan saw the person coming, her teeth were itching with anger. Are you the scumbag who abandoned Leibao? Quickly expel your professional sailing group, otherwise you will be destroyed sooner or later. Change course immediately and turn 90 degrees to right. Chu Lan loudly reminded the warships behind, and the two snakes immediately began to change direction. Turn right 90 degrees. Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel also noticed the raging thunderstorm at this moment, and immediately ordered the warship to turn around. The two ships fled at maximum speed, followed closely by the huge pirate ship with the Golden Lion flying in the sky. I don't know how long they ran. The two snakes were too tired to swim anymore, and the thunderstorm behind them gradually dissipated. Chu Lan stood on the deck, looking at the pirate ship in the sky behind that had returned to its original state. The figure of the Golden Lion Shiji, from the pirate ship appeared and landed slowly in front of everyone. Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel clenched the hilt of his sword, stared at the man in the sky, and murmured it turned out to be the legendary pirate, Golden Lion Shige. Gee ha 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 ha, the Golden Lion was floating in the air, looking at Chu Lan and asked. Boy, you were the one who cut off my pirate ship yesterday, right? Chu Lan nodded and said indifferently, want to experience it again. Gee ha 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 ha, how long has it been since anyone dared to talk to me so arrogantly? I'm afraid you still don't know who I am, right? Golden Lion introduced himself loudly, I am the legendary pirate, Golden Lion. Golden Lion Shiji. Eh? The Golden Lion's jaw dropped in shock, you know me. Captain of the Flying Pirates, Admiral of the Golden Lion Pirate Fleet, Flying Pirate, and user of the Piao Piao fruit ability. Chu Lan clasped her fingers, counting her treasures, the legendary pirate who once stood side by side with Whitebeard and Roger, a member of the Rocks Pirates, and the first pirate to escape in Impel Down City's history, was killed by a man who had not mastered hacking. The man who was easily killed by the little pirate. How about it? Did I say enough? If not, I'll think about it again. What did you say? The Golden Lion was furious. When has I ever been defeated by a pirate who didn't even master domineering power? I have only lost to Roger in my life. That's because you haven't seen the theatrical version. Chu Lan couldn't help but vomit in her heart. Golden Lion Shiji. The righteous Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel suddenly shouted, interrupting the conversation between the two. Quickly surrender and follow me back to the Navy headquarters. Otherwise, I will arrest you today. After saying that, Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel did not listen to his response. He jumped into the sky and slashed at the Golden Lion with his sword. Then, The golden lion easily dodged it. Chu Lan couldn't help but laugh out loud. You should listen to his answer. His real combat power is that he can challenge any admiral without defeat. Why do you, a lieutenant general, just do it so recklessly? Flying Squirrel Lieutenant General, I respect you as a man. But I remember you are not that kind of person. Vice Admiral? The Golden Lion looked at the Flying Squirrel with great interest. Are those two old guys Garp and Warring States still alive? The Flying Squirrel stood ready. Golden Lion, I have reported your whereabouts to the Warring States Marshal. You can't run away. Gee ha 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 ha. The Golden Lion laughed arrogantly. Back when I was able to escape from Impel City and break into the Navy headquarters and kill everyone, only Sengoku and Garp could join forces to compete with me. I didn't expect that now, a mere Vice Admiral would want to arrest me. Is it that I, the Golden Lion, can no longer lift the sword, or is it that your navy has drifted? The Golden Lion raised his right foot high, grinned, and kicked out the right leg tied to the famous sword Yingshi. Chopping. A huge golden slash suddenly appeared, flying straight towards the Flying Squirrel, and a huge deep groove was cut into the sea. Ha! The Flying Squirrel clenched the katana with both hands, roared, and faced the terrifying golden slash head-on. A violent explosion appeared, and the water on both sides of the warship exploded into the sky. Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel was continuously bombarded by this blow. He retreated, but in the end, the slash was successfully resisted by Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel. The naval soldiers behind him fell onto the board of the ship one by one, trembling. When gods fight, soldiers are afraid. His strength is pretty good, he was able to withstand one of my slashes. The Golden Lion praised. 27 years ago, the boy who followed Capco during the Warring States period was you, right? You have a good memory, Golden Lion. Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel readjusted his posture and shouted, however, I am not the weak me I was back then. I will definitely arrest you today and send you back to the undersea prison. Gee ha 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 ha, kid, don't be too arrogant. The Golden Lion laughed loudly. Let's see the strength gap between us. Lion Senkaria. Reading books on May Day will be great. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, April 29th to May 3rd. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I just want to be a quiet Tianlong person. Author, Dai Tianlong. Chapter 66. Countless more powerful slashes were kicked out from under the Golden Lion's swords. Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel's expression changed greatly. He roared, and he stepped forward without fear. 1 slash, 2 slashes, 3 slashes. The Flying Squirrel used all his strength to smash 3 huge slashes. The moment the katana in his hand collided with the 4th slash, he could no longer resist it and was shattered. Nanny! Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel was shocked, but before he could take a look at the broken katana, the astonishing slash had already come to him. I said, if you do it in front of me, wouldn't it be too disrespectful to give someone a favor? A voice suddenly sounded. Chu Ian's figure instantly appeared in front of the Flying Squirrel, facing the huge slash. Goiche unsheathed 3 inches, the slash collided with the blade, and then disappeared silently. Countless slashes came from the two people. It passed by and cut the entire calm sea into pieces. The warship under the two men was directly cut into pieces by this terrifying slash. The soldiers on the ship fell into the sea one after another, but fortunately, ordinary soldiers could not eat it at all. The devil fruit appeared and no one drowned. Gee ha ha. Shut up. Stop laughing. Before Golden Lion finished laughing, he was interrupted by Chu Lan. You've been laughing all the way. You love to laugh so much. Why don't you become a comedian? Golden Lion. Gee ha 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 ha. Chulan. Damn it. Chulan almost couldn't hold in her anger and wanted to go up with the knife and chop him down on the spot. Boy, tell me your name. The golden lion stopped laughing and asked, you are the first young swordsman in this world who can withstand my slashes. Shouldn't you give your own name before asking someone else's name? Chulan asked disdainfully. Jaha. Golden Lion corrected his tone and said proudly, I am Golden Lion Shiji, and I am a pirate. Never heard of that. Chulan said deliberately, why did you suddenly attack us? This is really a misunderstanding. It was obviously your attack yesterday that almost cut off my ship. Misunderstand? Chulan smiled, flying unscrupulously over my country is a blatant violation of our country's airspace. If not, who are you going to kill? Hancock nodded repeatedly, without any intention of refuting Chulan. My people belong to Mr. Chulan, and of course the country also belongs to Mr. Chulan. Chulan continued, could it be that someone is standing on top of you? Did you hand him the paper? Nanny? What is airspace? What is Laxiang? The golden lion's face was confused, and he couldn't understand what Chulan was talking about. It does not matter. Chulan waved her hand, the important thing is that the warship has been attacked and your whereabouts have been exposed. Why don't you run away quickly? I could kill you so no one would know where I am. Can you kill it? Gee ha 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 ha, I can try it. The golden lion laughed and disappeared in an instant. The next second, he appeared next to Chulan. The two of them shot almost at the same time. The golden and purple slashes collided with each other, causing a storm on the sea. Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel looked at the two for the first time in a human confrontation. I felt that I, the Vice Admiral, was a little too hydrated. The battle between the two lasted for nearly an hour, from the edge of the windless zone to a nearby island, and then they stopped briefly. Golden Lion panting, he shouted excitedly, gee ha 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 ha, so happy, since the battle with Garp 20 years ago, no one has been able to fight me so happily. Chulan is also not easy. He is worthy of being a legendary pirate. Not only does his devil fruit have bugs, but even without his legs, his sword skills are also very good. He only has one sword, so it is really troublesome to deal with it. You're not bad either, but continuing to fight like this is a waste of time. Chulan challenged, I have a knife, take it and see. The golden lion nodded and said arrogantly, come on, the last blow. The golden lion raised his hands high and flipped violently. The ground of the entire island began to rise, turning into huge lion heads one after another. Chulan took a deep breath, sheathed the knife, and held the handle of the knife tightly with her right hand. Charge up! Lion Power Earth Scroll. Shuro with one sword. The whole island seemed to have turned into a living creature. Dozens of huge lion heads rushed towards Chulan from all directions, as if they wanted to swallow Chulan in one gulp. The surging evil spirit surged out of Chu Ian's body and surrounded him. The surroundings were violently tumbling. A huge lion's head fell from the sky and hit the demonic barrier crazily, arousing countless air waves. At the moment when the lion's head broke through the demonic barrier and fell, Chulan drew his sword. An invisible slash suddenly appeared. This slash could cut through the palm of Bartholomew Bear, and it could also cut off the golden lion's strongest attack. The roaring lion stopped moving, and a very thin gap appeared. Appearing in the center of its head, it seemed as if it could not affect the huge body of the giant lion at all, but Chulan had quietly put away the knife. At this moment, all the lion heads suddenly cracked and split into two. They turned into sand again. Dissipate in the air. Mayday reading is a joy. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, April 29th to May 3rd. I just want to be a quiet Tianlong person. Author, Tianlong. Chapter 67. The golden lion looked at the scene in front of him dumbfounded. His lion's mighty earth scroll was actually cut open with a knife. Is that an ordinary lion? That is a real indestructible weapon controlled by the devil fruit ability. The man in front of him must not be underestimated if he can take this blow from him. That lieutenant general's strength is not at the same level as him. Chu Lan sheathed her sword, smiled and said to the golden lion in the distance. Shiji, do you want to fight again? Ji ha 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 ha, no fight, no fight. The golden lion flew over with a smile. You accidentally killed my pirate ship, but I also destroyed one of your warships. Even if we are even, what do you think? I think so too. The golden lion slowly landed on the ground, stretched out his right hand to Chu Lan, with a Yinbai smile on his face. Chu Lan also smiled and held his right hand together. Returning to the Nine Snakes pirate ship, Hancock was worried stepped forward to check Chu Ian's body. Lord Chu Lan, are you injured? I failed to protect you, really. Hancock was about to cry as he spoke. As a devil fruit user, she couldn't fight flying enemies on the sea. Even if she had a boat, she wouldn't be able to catch up to the flying golden lion. She would be completely trapped. Passive. Don't worry, I'm fine, Chu Lan comforted her. As a man, if you want your woman to protect you, that would be so satisfying. Hancock checked carefully a few more times. This time he finally felt relieved and turned to glare at the golden lion. Damn you, how dare you hurt my beloved man, I will never forgive you. She touched her lips lightly with her finger, and a red heart appeared on her fingertips, aiming at the golden lion in the air. Kiss gun. Ouch, the pirate empress is indeed terrifying. The golden lion dodged and looked at Hancock like a nymphomaniac. Baby Chen, how can you do it just because you said it? I couldn't hurt him. Chu Lan stopped Hancock, who was about to attack again, and said with a smile, it's really okay. We wouldn't know each other if we didn't fight. Now we are friends. Yes, yes, friend. The golden lion laughed loudly, patted his chest and said, Brother Chu Lan, since I accidentally damaged your boat, I will take you wherever you want to go. Chu Lan raised the corners of her mouth, glanced at him strangely, and said happily, really? Thank you so much, Brother Shiji. You're welcome, you're welcome. The golden lion landed on the ship, and touched the deck lightly with his palm. The power of the Piao Piao fruit was activated, and the ship's hull trembled slightly, and slowly left the sea and rose into the sky. The power of the Piao Piao fruit was very powerful, and those who had been touched by the golden lion objects will be controlled by him at will, and there is no weight limit. They can float in the air permanently. However, he cannot control creatures other than himself, so the two cute little colubrids under the boat were not brought in the air. At this moment, the two cobra snakes looked at the boat that was originally dragged on their backs with confused faces, and slowly flew up into the sky with their master, leaving them. Lord Chu Lan, please take me with you, Flying Squirrel shouted loudly, and he was about to jump on the boat to protect Chu Lan. Forget it, Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel, with your little strength, we won't. Don't worry about me. You return to Marina Vando first. Without you, these soldiers will die here. Call for support quickly. Chu Lan waved her hand and rejected the flying squirrel. Not to mention that if the golden lion wanted to attack Chu Lan, the flying squirrel's strength would not be able to help at all. It only said that the animals with overwhelming fighting power on the floating island would have to be strong enough to fight against Chu Lan. Rat drinks from a pot. Instead of letting him be a burden, it is better to let him go back to Marineland first, instead of being a light bulb for his honeymoon. The pirate ship slowly rose into the sky and crossed the clouds. Chu Lan finally saw it, those islands floating in the sky. This is Merville. The golden lion opened his arms and asked proudly, how about my island of miracles? Chu Lan nodded and praised Merville. Wonderful. Golden lion. Although I already knew what this place looked like before I came here, the scenery I saw with my own eyes was still much more shocking than the monotonous pictures. Obviously adjacent islands have different environments, and even one island has different solar terms. The sea water surrounds the island's forest, providing a good habitat for different creatures on the island. Here, you can even feel the changes of the four seasons in one day. If it is developed properly and becomes a tourist attraction, there will definitely be no problem at all. Oh, it's a joke, sorry. Hancock lay on the edge of the deck, eyes wide open, looking at the scenery below in disbelief. Lord Chulan, this is really, so beautiful. Oh, baby Chan. Do you think so too? The figure of the golden lion appeared behind Hancock at some unknown time, and he slowly raised his palm. Reading books on May Day is a great pleasure. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now, event time, April 29th to May 3rd day. I just want to be a quiet Tianlong person. Author, Dai Tianlong. Chapter 68. Chulan noticed his little move and almost couldn't help but laugh out loud. You just tricked me into getting on the boat. Is this really the only way to rob people? Do you think Hancock is Nami's little wildcat? What is in front of you is the most beautiful and most ferocious girl in the world, Bai Sohan. Viper. The golden lion couldn't bear it any longer and slapped his palm on the deck, instantly cancelling the devil fruit ability on the ship. At the same time, he wrapped his arms around Hancock, trying to hug her around the waist and bring her with him. Walk. Pirate Empress, I accept it. Unfortunately, he couldn't accept it. As the queen of the Shichibukai, Hancock has experienced countless battles, and because of her childhood experience, she is very sensitive to danger, especially the danger caused by men. The moment the golden lion took action, Hancock didn't even look back. He raised his leg and kicked the golden lion's hand away. Nanny. The golden lion was shocked. He didn't expect that his sudden attack would be blocked by her. What a rude person, how dare you get close to my body? Hancock put his index finger on his lips, kissed her gently, and a huge pink heart appeared in front of her. My body will always belong to Master Chulan. Hancock reached out, grabbed the peach heart, and pulled it back like a bow and arrow. Captive arrow. Countless pink arrows rushed towards the golden lion. The golden lion hurriedly twisted its body and flipped flexibly in the air, barely dodging the incoming arrows. Damn woman! The golden lion was furious, Yingshi slashed out again. Chopping. The golden slash rushed straight towards Hancock. Hancock's face changed drastically and she hurriedly avoided it, but the rolling pirate ship made her lose her balance in the next moment. Master Chulan! Hancock exclaimed. Chulan appeared next to her instantly, held her in his arms, covered the scabbard with domineering force, and dispersed the golden lion slash with one blow. However, losing control of the Piao Piao fruit ability, the Nine Snakes pirate ship began to fall rapidly, and the two of them fell towards the depths of the island along with the falling ship. Have fun with cute little animals. The golden lion showed the unique smile of Lao Yinbai. Those extremely crazy and belligerent animals modified by psych drugs are enough for two people to drink a pot. Without his ability, it is impossible for anyone to escape from the island alive. Chulan looked at the golden lion with a Yinbai smile, and gave him an even brighter Yinbai smile. Jinshijiang, you only saw the second layer, but thought of me as the first layer. In fact, I have already on the 5th floor. Chulan held Hancock in her arms, and the two fell quickly into the huge volcanic lake below. High in the air. Golden Lion watched the two people disappear, but did not loosen his frown. As a wise general, he was very concerned about Chu Ian's last smile. It was obviously a smile that he, the winner, would show, so why was he smiling so happily? There's a ghost. However, no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't figure out what was wrong. They can't fly, so if they jump off the island, the only possibility is to fall to their death. Since they can't run away and can't beat me, what on earth am I worried about? The Golden Lion was thinking hard when the phone bug in his arm suddenly rang. What's up? Boss Shiji, it seems that all the pirates we summoned have arrived at the port. Gee ha 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 ha, great, send someone to greet them. The Golden Lion turned and left, put the men on the island back into the village. Hey, is it okay to let them go? This is what I promised, but only one person will be allowed. The Golden Lion turned around and said with a cruel smile, before despair comes, give them a little hope first. The higher their expectations, the more pleasing the look of despair when they fall into the abyss, right? Master Shiji is so witty. Gee ha 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 ha. Coming out of the sea-filled lake bottom, Chu Lan looked at the unconscious empress and recalled the artificial respiration techniques she had practiced with her cute male classmates. Oh, no, don't let me recall that painful memory. Chu Lan lowered his head, and after a fierce micro-manipulation, he finally succeeded in resuscitating the empress. Cough cough cough. Hancock coughed up the seawater in his mouth, looked at Chu Lan affectionately, and asked emotionally, Master Chu Lan, was it you who saved me? Well, it's me. Get off me first. This is not the right time and place. Chu Lan pushed Hancock away and explained, there are many violent and powerful animals here. We can't stay here for a long time. I am completely at the mercy of Lord Chu Lan. Take your hands out, it's time for us to set off. Oh. Reading books on May Day will be great. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now, activity time, April 29th to May 3rd. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I just want to be a quiet Tianlong person. Author, Dai Tianlong. Chapter 69. The Summit of Crater Lake. Chu Lan took out the drawing that was forced upon him by the Warring States period and contained information about the 12 palaces and the Kingdom of Heaven. There are some vague patterns carved on the back of the blade. If you look closely, you can see that the picture is an island floating in the sky. There are dense forests on the island and many ferocious beasts of different shapes are fighting and fighting. At first, Chu Lan always thought it was an empty island and wanted to find a chance to visit it. Although those ferocious beasts did not match the scenery on the island, I did not think of other possibilities. Until yesterday, when I suddenly saw the Golden Lion pirate ship, I suddenly remembered that in this world, in addition to the empty island, there is the only island flying in the sky, the Golden Lion's Miracle Island. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made that slash. Wouldn't it be better to show your identity, exchange feelings, enhance mutual understanding, and jointly develop the construction of a new socialist countryside? As for the tragedy in the East China Sea, it's none of my business. Do you really think that the big guys who are retiring in Donghai are unconscious? You know, although the East China Sea is known as the weakest island, the three brothers Roger, Dragon, Garp, Rayleigh and Luffy all came from the East China Sea. If there are no other big shots in Donghai except these few people, Chu Lan is the first one not to believe it. This weakest may just be the weakest in low-end combat power on the surface. No one will be afraid of high-end combat power. As for why those strong men disappeared? Because they are all taking care of themselves. Well, that's how Chu Lan judged it. As for whether it is true or false, that is not something that needs to concern him. Look down. Directly in front of them, giant trees up to 100 meters high formed a tropical rainforest. Outside the dense forest not far away, the ecology suddenly changed and turned into a picture of ice and snow. Chu Lan could even see a huge mutated polar bear. Activities in it. Behind them is the sea floating in the air. Occasionally, fish swim out of the water and fall to the ground and become pulp. Sand carp fish. Chu Lan complained. Hancock covered his mouth tightly, his beautiful eyes were bright, and he looked at this wonderful land in disbelief. Since she was brought back to Nine Snakes Island by Granny New, she has never been out of town again. I went out to kill pirates and snatch goods. I didn't go too far from the island, and I never went to other islands. Seeing such beautiful scenery at this moment, I was as curious as a child. Lord Chu Lan, what kind of place is this? It's so beautiful. Miracle Island. These are several islands with very peculiar natural environment that existed a long time ago. Chu Lan said with a smile, we can go shopping. Really? Hancock stood on tiptoes and jumped a few times. Of course, we have plenty of time. But what should we do with that pirate, the Golden Lion? Hancock looked unhappy. Don't let me see him again, I will definitely kill him. Don't worry, we will find him eventually. For now, let's take a stroll around this place. After this time, I'm afraid I'll never see such beautiful scenery again in the world. Okay, Lord Chu Lan's hung. Hancock grabbed Chu Ian's hand and jumped from the edge of the volcanic lake several hundred meters away. Damn it! I'm afraid of heights. Chu Lan screamed, and the two of them fell rapidly towards the dense forest below. Roar! Just after landing on the ground, before Chu Lan could take a breath, the huge tree behind him suddenly fell down, and a huge, six-legged, blue beast appeared behind the two of them. It roared and rushed towards the two of them. What a blind eye! Chu Lan cursed, and drew his sword to kill this guy. However, before Chu Lan could take action, the blue beast suddenly froze on the spot, and its big eyes turned into two pink hearts. Chu Lan was stunned for a while. I'll go, no way. Chu Lan subconsciously turned around and saw Hancock gently rubbing his ankle, with a slight pain on his face, as if he had sprained his foot. The handsome brows frowned slightly, and he glanced at it not far away. The huge blue beast instantly turned into a pug, lying in front of Hancock, wagging its tail in a fawning way. Okay, the plan to venture into the animal world is ruined. Chu Lan held Hancock in her arms, jumped on its back. Akai, let's go. The proud blue beast raised its chest and raised its head, and followed Chu Ian's instructions and walked towards the depths of the dense forest. According to the hundreds of novels I have read, the more dangerous the place, the greater the possibility of hiding treasures. It is best to have a guardian spirit beast. The chance of hiding a treasure is almost 100%. Where is the most dangerous place on this island? The deepest jungle, the deepest sea, the polar bear cave in the ice and snow. Damn, there are a lot of places here. Chu Lan frowned. She had to hurry up, otherwise she might not be able to catch up with the great drama of the war. Drive. Chu Lan slapped the erect buttocks of the horse beneath him. The blue beast bared its teeth in dissatisfaction, and then received another slap on the face. Reading books on May Day is a great time. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a recharge now. Event time, April 29th to May 3rd. I just want to be a quiet Tianlong person. Author, Da-ei Tianlong. Chapter 70. With a whoop, the two men and the beast finally arrived in front of the tall white tower standing in the center of the dense forest. Akai's whole body was covered with cold hairs, and a pair of tiger eyes stared at the white tower, as if there was something terrible inside. Chu Lan pulled out Gui Te and was also prepared. The ground suddenly trembled, a rumbling sound of running came from the tower, and a huge figure suddenly jumped out from the tower. Without any pause, a huge slap slapped Chu Lan hard. A huge shadow covered the sky and the sun. Chu Lan kicked Akai, who was so frightened that he stayed on the spot. He picked up Hancock and ran away. Standing on the top of the tree 100 meters high, Chu Lan could clearly see what kind of monster was in front of him. It was a huge ape that could rival King Kong. Even if he stood on the top of the tree, it could only just reach his chest. The giant ape beat his chest violently with both hands, opened his big mouth and roared loudly at the two little things in front of him who dared to disturb his sleep. "Hancock, wait for me here, I'll be right back." "Why is Master Chulan going here? Stepping on the sky? What if you never come back?" "That's impossible." Chulan mentally rehearsed the conversation, and was about to draw his knife to chop the gorilla, when he saw it froze in place, its big eyes turned into hearts. Chulan shuddered. "Fuck. I am not interested in orangutans. Ho ho ho, ho ho, ho ho." The orangutan beat his chest excitedly and even spun around in circles excitedly. "What, let me give you this woman." The next moment, Onitsuru came out of his sheath, and Shura came to the world. Sitting by the campfire, Chulan chewed the roasted orangutan meat in his hand with a depressed look. Facts have proved that where there are monsters, there are not necessarily treasures. Put that color orangutan after being hacked to death, Chulan searched through the entire tower. Except for a pile of animal bones, there was no sign of any treasure. Novels are all lies. Although people are outside, their daily routine cannot be messed up. Eat enough. After drinking enough, we took a simple lunch break. Hancock's knee pillow was very good, smooth, delicate, and full of elasticity. Even if you lay on it, it was not easy to fall asleep. Riding on the blue beast, the two continued to move towards the distance. They set off to the snowy field, but when they reached the edge of the dense forest, Akai refused to take another step forward. Hancock gave it a kick angrily, and Chulan thought about it and gave it a kick as well. Kicked it back to the dense forest. The blue beast glanced at Hancock reluctantly, and then ran away. Around the tall forest, there was a circle of short round trees, which the golden lion used to drive away animals. The plant that protects the village, daft green. Since there is daft green planted here, it means that there is a village not far ahead. Before the golden lion attacks the East China Sea, he will definitely uproot all the trees around the village and use the lives of the villagers to come to him. Pirates for demonstration. However, Chulan will not go out of his way to save these villagers. To solve this problem, he can only kill the golden lion, and this is Chu Ian's purpose. After killing the golden lion, they will automatically be saved. Chulan doesn't have to worry about it at all. The only uncertainty is when the golden lion will start to take action. Does it mean that we have to wait until the war starts on the top before taking action? Chulan ponders, if we wait until then to take action, the Navy will be busy with Baibeard's all-out war, will definitely not be able to take care of him. Golden Lion, you have become smarter. Chulan walked into the village with Hancock and immediately attracted everyone's attention. Well, Chulan attracted it. Go, the village is full of women, children, and old people, and there are no men. The men here have been captured by the Golden Lion and taken to the castle to work as laborers. Of course, it is more appropriate to say that they are slaves rather than laborers. Chulan took a step forward and asked kindly, "Hello fellow villagers, I am your courier boy. Ahem, where is your store selling winter clothes?" The little girls were a little scared and hid behind their mothers. Her mother took 2 steps forward to avoid her children. "Who are you? I don't have kids." "Brother, do you want to go to the ice field?" an ordinary young woman asked enthusiastically, as if she didn't even see the dark-faced Hancock at the side. Chulan patted Hancock's hand, comforted her, and said with a smile, "Yes, our husband and wife are going to play in the snow field." "Couple?" Master Chulan actually said that I was his wife. Hancock's face suddenly turned red, he said and slowly fell to the ground. "Could it be said that this is, Mary?" "Hey, brother, is she okay?" the ordinary young woman asked with concern. Chulan glanced at the overstimulated empress, waved her hand and said with a smile, "It's okay, she can just rest for a while." The young woman wanted to say something more, but suddenly there was a rustling sound behind the house. Her expression suddenly changed and she hurriedly said, "Hurry, Hide quickly. Reading books on May Day will be great. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, April 29th to May 3rd.